Hello and welcome to the Streamline Shine podcast. My name is Steph Bolton and I'm 1/3 of Bolton Virtual Solutions, a team made up of me, Mum, and my two daughters, Sam and Amy. Our family virtual assistant agency's absolute passion is helping time-poor female entrepreneurs with those ridiculously long to-do lists, because we all know how they get longer instead of shorter, so that they're able to focus on doing what they love. You're going to want to stick around if you find yourself constantly just doing this thing quickly instead of spending time with your family, or if you look at your list of tasks and feel like crying, or even if you're just simply wondering how to manage your time better and delegate to your team. We're going to be covering topics from social media to marketing, systems and processes to outsourcing, and so much more, so that you can see what's possible for you and your business. So let's get stuck in.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Streamline and Shine podcast. And today we're joined by the lovely Nicola from both of her businesses. She's not just gone with one, she's got two. So we've got Systems House, which is her consultancy business for systems and ClickUp. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Good. Okay. And then we've got Systems Pro Academy, which is her coaching business for virtual assistants and OBMs. So welcome, Nicola.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. This is going to be a goodie. I can feel
I'm
it.
excited.
So we're going to come to your backstory very shortly, but tell us about your businesses now.
Yeah, so like you said, thank you for introducing my businesses and having me on the pod. So I've got two businesses. My first business is Systems House, which is my consultancy. We're going into 5 years now, specialising in systems, and we focus on two platforms. So I'm a ClickUp consultant, and I also specialise in Dubsado, which is pretty much where my journey in this business all began as well. I started with Dubsado. And my second business is a coaching business where I work with tech-savvy VAs and OBMs and help them to specialise in a specific tech system and build a business around that as well for themselves. So everything I've learned in my own business as a consultant is now what I'm teaching in my coaching business as well.
Amazing. So it's nice that you've been able to learn as you've gone away, learn as you go through, and now you can pay it forward.
Yes, that
With
is
the
exactly
coaching.
how it feels.
Yeah,
Exactly.
good. Okay, so you said you started your own business 5 years ago. Is that the first time that you started your own business, or did you have something before
Oh,
that?
I've been in business online since 2013,
Oh,
so
wow.
a long while. My very first business was basically me deciding I'd just gotten married. I've divorced now, but decided to get into the wedding industry, and so I was like, well, it can't be that hard. Called up my friend who was getting married, and I said, look, would you let me decorate your wedding? She said yes. I said, great. She booked, and her wedding started off that wedding business for me. And that evolved from doing decor, doing, all the table centerpieces and chair covers, to actually going into doing wedding stationery. And I ran my wedding stationery business for 5 years, coincidentally. And that was my side hustle. And I absolutely loved it. I just sold luxury designs. All of my designs, sold them online, worked with brides in the UK, in the US, in Europe. And so that was my first taste of business online as well.
Wow. Okay. So I started doing a wedding planning course,
Oh, there you go.
and I thought, oh, that's going to be so easy to do. Well, I've got weekends free. It's fine. Oh my God.
Not for the faint-hearted.
Famous last words that was. Definitely. So yeah. Okay, and that's when you started Systems House, is it?
So I started my consultancy actually in 2019. So I closed doors on my wedding business,
Mm.
launched my consultancy in the summer, and I actually launched under Nicola Melinda Consulting. So actually, originally, it was a virtual assistant business. So I was
Ah,
offering VA packages. Yeah.
yeah.
So I came in with my virtual assistant packages, offering digital marketing, email marketing services, basically everything that I learned in my wedding business,
Mm,
but also Dubsado setups, because I was using Dubsado in my previous business. So I launched that in the summer of 2019, and I signed one client in that time. Didn't sign anyone else for about 6 months, and then I
mm,
made the pivot. I got a coach, and she was like, just go all in on systems, and I
right.
did. And then that was it. My business just grew legs, and just that was it. It was off.
And that's when you found your love for systems properly, was it?
Yeah, I think that was where the confidence came in as well. I knew what I wanted
Mm,
to do, but at the time I didn't know anyone who was doing it. And I guess it was one of those things of, is this actually a viable business model? Like, would someone actually pay me to do this thing, this
yeah.
service? I knew the benefit because I guess I was my ideal client at the time. But,
Mm,
in the UK especially, systems are just really sort of looked upon like, what is that, this American thing, so
yeah.
it
Yeah.
takes a little bit of like, education to get people on board. And yeah, there was a couple of people who were side-eyeing it a little bit, thinking, why would you want to do that? But yeah, I'm glad to say 5 years on, I'm still here, so clearly there's there's a
Good.
need for it.
So what made you decide to close the wedding business and move over to systems, do you think?
Oh gosh, true answer. The wedding
Mm,
business is hard. I'm not even gonna lie.
mm.
I found it really hard. I love,
Bridezillas everywhere.
yeah, I love being creative. Like, it fed that creative side of me. But yeah, sometimes you would get the odd situation where it just made you question, do I really want to do this
Mm,
forever?
mm.
And also I struggled to see how I was going to scale it. I
Yeah.
get stuck on, how do I take this thing that actually it's very hard to do just as a one to one person. How do I scale
Mm,
that so that I could leave my job, so that I could maybe grow a team? What does that look like?
yeah.
And yeah, in the end, I just felt like, I don't think I want to do this going forward for the future. So I decided to look into a service-based business and thought, hey, that might be
Okay.
better. No physical
Yeah.
products to do or worry about orders or things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No going out early on a Saturday morning
Yeah,
either.
yeah. I don't have to. I was on first name basis with the parcel force delivery guy, like, all the time picking up parcels. So yeah, none of that. All of that stopped.
Okay. Okay. Right. So how and when did you realize that systems was the way that you were meant to be going with your business? Like, what made
Mm.
you realize that you were in the right industry?
That's a good question. So I think when I pivoted in 2020,
Mm,
and I put my name on Instagram as like the Dubsado Queen, and I just jumped on and I literally every day just went on stories, just talking
right.
about this tool that I loved, and it never felt hard. It felt very, very natural, and for me, that's always a good tell. If you can just
Mm,
get on and just talk about something and share something, people would ask questions. I never got nervous answering the questions. It was just so easy to help them.
mm,
And when they would be like, get those light bulb moments, for me, I just thought, this is it. This is what I enjoy doing. And it was
mm.
also the thought of, I can't believe I can get paid for doing this as well. It almost felt
Because
a little
it's too
bit like,
easy.
what's the catch? Yeah, what's the catch? I don't get this. Like, you're sort of looking around thinking, oh, the bubble's going to get popped. But for me, literally doing the thing is what really like cemented it. I knew I wanted to do it. I've
Yeah.
always enjoyed tech. Growing up, we were always exposed to like different tech and computers and all the new things. And I think that probably has a part of the story, plays a part
Oh,
of the
definitely.
story
Yeah.
as well. And a little bit for my day job as well. I was like doing a little bit in terms of understanding systems and writing processes to like
Mm,
how to use the systems, and again, no one told me how. It was just this thing of like, well, I think you just do XYZ and I'll just create manual and people will just know what to do going forward.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it just felt like quite a natural thing for me to
So it
take
all
on.
came together really
Yeah, it
in your
has. It
favour.
has.
Yeah.
Really
Okay.
organically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely though, because like you haven't, like you've just stumbled across it in a way, haven't
Yeah,
you? Like you just,
literally.
it just so happened that you were doing something similar in your work, and then because of your upbringing, your technology was always around, and yeah, it's like I think that's really nice that you haven't had to, like, I'm not saying you haven't worked hard enough for where you are,
I
but
know what you mean.
do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you've just easily found your flow.
Yes, yes. And I am grateful for that because I know when you're
Mm,
coming into the online space, a lot of people pivot. And I've seen a lot of people pivot their businesses from one to another, trying to find that thing that they really
mm,
enjoy.
and
Whereas I
make it
feel like
stick.
yeah, I feel like I found that thing and it has changed. It has had, there have been pivots and some shifts, but it
Mm,
has still stayed within the same like arena, so to speak. So
yeah,
I am
yeah.
quite grateful for that because it's not easy to, not everyone knows
It's
100%
not easy
what they
even
want
when
to
you
do.
find it easily, is it? Like,
Yeah,
let's
it's
face it,
not.
we were just saying this, weren't we, before we hit record, that
Mhm.
business ain't easy. It's not for the faint-hearted.
It is not. So if you're going to do a business, you have to want to do that business.
A lot.
You really have to, like, I kind of liken it to being in like a relationship. You know, relationships go through ebbs and
Yeah,
flows, and so
yeah.
but
The
you have
rough
to
with the
always look at
smooth.
that person and say, I still like you, you're still my
Yeah,
person. You know, if
exactly.
you can't do
Exactly.
that, it's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big problem.
A big one.
Okay, so my next question is, what is your big focus for 2025?
My big focus for 2025, yeah, so I actually have a couple and they're not all business related. um
Okay.
yeah, so on the business side is growing the coaching program. That for me, last year it was almost like the first window into what it could be.
Mm,
And so this year I'm really excited to actually like roll it out even more, roll out more trainings, roll out more products, and just yeah, support more students. So that is a big thing for me. But also I'm looking at my life, the structure of my life, and how my business is supporting that as well. So on the personal
okay.
side, certain
Yeah.
things are changing. So I'm going to be moving and things like that. And I guess I'm redesigning my businesses around the lifestyle that I want.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to have a business, but it's another thing if you feel like that business now hinders how you want to
Yeah.
live.
If it's
Um,
holding you back in your life. Yeah.
Exactly. So I've been taking a lot of time, and I'd said to you over Christmas, I restructured my offers, and all of that has been done in a way where how can I actually run this business, and I feel like I'm not chained to the desk all the time. I can put some even more robust systems in place for myself, um,
Mm,
and yeah, just get it to that place where I feel like yeah, this is really good, and we can just continue to grow it.
yeah. And it's good that you're at that stage though, because I think it's difficult to get to that stage in the
Yeah.
beginning. Like it takes a while, and not only because it's hard work, but also because it takes you a while to realize what how you want your business model to look and the boundaries you want to put in place, and like whether it's with your clients or your peers or your family, whoever. But I think it takes you a little while to realize that, doesn't it? Do you
Yeah,
think?
it does. I do. And I think it comes down to confidence as well.
Mm,
Because when you first start out your business, you kind of easily get swept up with what the clients want and what people say you should do and all of the different opinions. And then you get to a stage where you're like, so I know for myself, and this might be for you, you might have felt this, but you take on so much advice that you stop listening to yourself. And
yeah.
then you have to almost undo a lot of things. So I
Mm,
felt like over the last year, I've had to just undo a lot of things and go back to what does Nicola actually want? Like,
yeah.
why did I start this business in the first place? Why is it even here? Because if I
Mm,
can't answer that, what am I doing? You know, it's just
yeah.
and also what do I want to do in the future? What does the next stage of this business look like? You know, is it always going to be done for you? Is it going to be working with larger size clients? Do I want to, you know, open new courses? What do I want to do with that? And you've got to have those conversations, but it takes confidence to then actually, like you said, enforce the boundaries and start putting those things in place, actually saying, right, I'm going to own my truth and say what I want and actually go after what I want, which is the hardest thing to do
It
as a
really is,
business
because
owner.
like, you'll find that a lot of business owners are people pleasers, because we're there
Yes.
to help others at the end of the day,
Yeah.
especially service-based business
Oh,
owners.
100%.
So us like putting our foot down and saying, actually, no, I'm not going to do it how you've advised me or how you think I should do it. I'm going to do it the way I think is right.
Yeah.
Like that takes a lot of balls. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that's really hard for, I think, service-based business owners to do.
And I
So the
think
fact they've done it is a big step.
exactly. You've made me remember the first time actually I was on a coaching call with a coach. This was probably about 3 years ago. And, you know, I was being advised to do a form of marketing. It's not a bad form of marketing, just going live.
Mm,
And I was just like, it doesn't, I don't want to. Like in my head, I just thought, no, I don't want to. And I said it on the call.
mm.
And I was so scared because I was like, oh my God, I've actually said no to my coach. Like, you're not supposed to do that. And it was just this moment, like I've said no to my parents or something. You know, you feel like
Yeah,
I'm going to get told off on my business. And you know what? I'm so glad that I stuck to my guns. But that comes with knowing what works for you and what doesn't. And
yeah,
for me, I don't like when it comes to business, if you don't want to do something that you do want to do. There's
yeah.
so many ways of running and growing a business. Find
Mm-hmm.
what works for you, but
Yeah.
you also have to know your business enough to know what works and
To
what
know
doesn't
what's going to
work,
work.
you
Yeah,
know? So
exactly.
when you do get to that stage, it's really good because then you can start eliminating extras and
Yeah,
just focus. But oh,
yeah.
it's so scary when you have to, nope, not
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that. Oh,
Yeah. No, I don't feel like that.
Lucy.
Next suggestion, please.
I know. No, we're not doing the live. Something else.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because obviously you didn't want to do the lives. I don't think you really do them now, do you?
I
It's not
don't
something.
know.
No,
I
I
haven't done a
don't think
live
I've
in a long time.
ever seen you do a live.
Yeah.
You're on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, and I know like you can edit a YouTube video and you can't edit a live and that kind of thing, but the content's ultimately going to be similar, isn't it? So whether it's
Yeah.
edited or not. So do you find, I think that's a bit interesting that you like you're always on video, but you don't want to do live video. Do you know what I
I
mean?
don't and then the funny thing is I do lives. I have a Facebook community and I go live in
Mm,
that Facebook group.
mm,
And I've got two Facebook groups actually. One of them I would go live and do trainings in, and the other
yeah.
one I would just go live and just talk. And
Mm,
I like that. It's my community. If anyone jumps on, I kind of know who it is.
yeah, a bit more
Instagram
familiar.
lives give me a little bit of that anxiety. Who's jumping on? Random people. I would get, you know, personal friends who know nothing about my business and just be like, oh, hi.
That's
And
probably
all of
more awkward
that.
than the strangers, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like that's a bit weird,
When you're
especially when they
catching up
don't
over
show
a drink and
any
they're like,
interest
oh,
in your
what were
business.
you doing on
Yeah,
Instagram?
yeah,
Like, yeah, you know.
exactly. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean there.
So it's not so much I hate video, it's more I don't want to do it
It's the control
in that
bit.
yeah, I want to control
Yeah,
it. I want to be in control of when, where, how.
yeah.
And that's also the beauty of business. You can do what you want when you want,
Exactly,
you
exactly.
know?
And there's like I can guarantee that you're not the only person that feels like that with
Yeah.
Instagram lives, especially because any bugger can join. You've never seen them before in your life. Before you know it, they're requesting to join you on the live.
Oh no.
Like, no, no, no. Pedro in Mexico or whoever you are,
I don't know who
just
you are.
no.
We don't need any none of that on my
No,
lives.
no, thank you. Not today. Okay, so my next question. What would you say is the importance of having your biz besties or finding
Oh,
your tribe as a female business owner?
so important. I underestimated this so much, and um honestly, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have people to talk to. I really
Mm.
don't. I have my tribe of people, and even we've spoken a little bit in the DMs as well. And just having people where you can go and talk to about things going on in your business that they can relate to and understand, it's so important. Like, there
Yeah.
is no running a business. I don't think it's one of those things that you can't describe it to someone who doesn't have a business.
Mm-hmm.
You can't describe to them how many tabs are open in my brain, why I'm annoyed that my videos aren't performing, why I now have to jump on and just do whatever I need to do in the back end on a particular day, and just all of the different things.
Mm.
The little wins that we have, it doesn't people don't understand it if they're not in
They don't
business,
get why you're so excited about it.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you say, "Oh, I've got 10 people signed up to my email list," they're like, "Okay, good for you." But
It's
you're like,
10
"You don't
people. It's not a
understand what
lot.
I've
You're like,
gone
no,
through."
no, no.
And you're like, "You don't understand what I've gone through to have that." Like, you need champions. You really need champions, and you need people where you can normalize the struggle. I think for them to just normalize that it's
Mm.
great, the wins are great, but sometimes as well, yeah, the
You
anxiety,
need people there through the
everything.
lows as well,
You
big
do,
time.
you do.
And it's nice that you can find people who get it from both ends, like they can
Yes,
understand when you're on a high and you're celebrating something that you've achieved, no matter how big or small it is,
100%.
or you pick up the phone, you're in tears because something's like scared you, or you've done something scary, or something's not gone right, or how you expected, and you've not had any sign-ups for your program, whatever it might be. But they just get it. And I do
Yeah,
think, like, I think you're right that there's only business owners you can talk to in that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
There's like, I couldn't talk to my husband about it
No, yeah,
because, like, I talk about my
of course.
business, but I know he's glazing over when I'm talking
Yeah.
to him. Like, he's like, just say,
They
making all the right
hear it.
noises to shut me up.
They'll celebrate the wins. And I mean, look, I've had my moments where I've sat there and cried, and my partner's like, "Oh, okay."
I don't get
But
it, but okay.
he's just like, "I'll just be there for you." Like,
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
clearly hard. But like you say, it's when you come out with both, I've come from corporate world, you're in corporate world, and you've got your colleagues. So if there's
Mm,
something that just annoys you or something that's going on, you've got someone to vent to, you've got someone to go and talk
yeah.
to. In
Yeah.
business, you're on your own. We
You're
work
on your
from
on your
home,
Todd. Yeah.
we're working remotely. You don't really have anyone sort of to go and say, "Oh, let's have a little catch up." So when you do have someone that you can just send that voice note to, or be like, "Oh my God, I've got to send this email and I'm cringing," or "I need to do certain things today. Can you hold me accountable?" All of those things, that's
Mm,
what keeps you going. They just
yeah.
give you that boost
Yeah. And it's also, like you said, sitting here working on your own, and that's a constant when you're a
all
full-time
the
business
time.
owner. Like,
Yeah.
everyone knows I'm not full-time in the business yet, but it's coming
Yeah.
later this year. And I can't tell you how excited I am for it, but I'm fully aware that I'm going to need to go and take myself off to my daughter's and go and sit
Yes.
with her and the babies for a little while. Take my laptop with me. We can do a bit of co-working together while we're
Yes.
watching the Rugrats run around. And we can do that. I might have to go to Costa, but I
Mm,
know I'm not going to be sat in this office on my own 4 days a week. It's just
yeah.
not happening.
You
So
absolutely need to
it's
get out.
really lonely, I
Yeah.
think, until you find those biz besties.
Yes, and you can do virtual co-working, because sometimes I do that
Yeah.
as well. I'll say, "Look, do you want to jump on a Zoom? Can we just do virtual co-working?" And
Mm,
that is great because you've got someone that is there. You kind of
yeah.
just know they're working, I'm going to work too. But I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you in getting out of the house, because when you do have a job, you do have to get out of the house unless your job is, fully remote.
Yeah. Mm,
Um, but yeah, when you are working for yourself, you kind of have to like hold yourself accountable to say, right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get dressed nice, I'm going to go somewhere, and I'm going to work in this place for a period of time. And I
mm,
I used to co-work at a local hotel, and they're kind of like
Okay.
a workspace set up, which is really good. And then I
Mm.
had a membership for co-working in London, and just having those places to go to,
Options.
it's just great options, when you've got
Mm.
a project, or you do just want to pretend let me just pretend and I'll go to the office and get my
Even if you go
coffee.
in to record
Yeah,
content, no one cares.
I would get
Like, you
content,
just need to get
it
out.
doesn't matter. Just get out of the house. But it's being around people again. It's like, oh,
Mm.
this is nice, it's
Yeah,
quite nice. But you're doing it for yourself, which is,
yeah.
I think, even better.
And there's so many different ways of like not being stuck to your desk as well, isn't there? Like, and
Oh,
like you said, there's the
absolutely.
virtual side of it, virtual networking, co-working, whatever it might be. But there's also like social media. You can communicate on there in so many different ways now. You can go and meet up for a coffee. You can even go shopping together. It doesn't have to be working. Like
Yeah,
there's just so many different ways that you can speak to your people
yes,
and not be glued to your desk
yeah,
24/7, because
definitely.
that's not healthy for anyone.
No, I mean, I like that now. And it took a while for me to get this into my head that, oh, I don't have to be stuck to the laptop between 9 to 5 anymore. If
Mm,
you do a 2 hour slot in the morning and you want to take a bit of time off, as long as your work is being done,
yeah.
but you get to decide your work pattern, you get to decide your day and your schedule,
Hmm.
and it's so empowering being able to say,
Yeah.
right, I remember saying to myself, right, I'm not going to do calls on a Monday and Friday anymore. I don't want to. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain myself.
No,
It's
because
just
it's your business. You
wonderful.
wouldn't
Yeah,
go and ask Apple why there's no appointments left on Saturday morning, would you?
literally.
So,
It's like, I don't want to do it. I don't have
mm,
to do it. There's no one to tell me I have to.
yeah.
It's so good. And I love that flexibility. If you want to
Mm,
have the afternoon because the sun is out, and, you can text your friend and say, should we just go and have a drink in a beer garden? You could do that.
exactly. Yeah.
You get your work done, or you just know I'll pick it up later, but I want to go
Mm,
out in the afternoon. You don't
yeah.
have to worry about getting, the boss getting their
Your
approval or anything.
permission. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not about that anymore.
We don't have to do that no more.
Right. Okay. So, if you could go back to when you first started, let's say when you first started with your systems business,
Oh yeah.
we'll not go to the wedding one because it's a totally different industry. But if you were to go back to then, or if you were talking to someone brand new in business, what's the one piece of advice that you'd give them?
I I would honestly say listen to your intuition, because there are certain things that I think about. So I'm 5 years in, and there are certain things that I think about now, and I'm like, wow, if I had just trusted myself and listened to my intuition and didn't let little voices in my head take over, I
Mm,
probably would have been a bit further in my own journey than
right.
before. And I probably would have made slightly different decisions as well. And I think a lot of that comes down to, yeah, just not necessarily trusting yourself enough. You're kind of
Mm,
looking for someone else to give that validation. So I would say trust your intuition, because you already know. The fact that you've had the idea to start a business, no one had to tell you to do that. And the fact
yeah.
that you know what you want to sell for your business, again, no one had to tell you to do that. So now, okay, it's just a case of, okay, you know what you want to do, you know what you want to sell. Like, what does your intuition tell you on how to get started? Because there's
Mm,
actually no right or wrong ways. I used to look
no.
for a lot of like permission. Oh, should I do this? Can I do that? It doesn't matter.
Mm,
Do what you want. Do what you want,
yeah.
because at the end of the day, that's how you learn. You
Mm,
learn through trial and error. So yeah, just go with your gut. If you have an idea and it feels crazy, it's probably the right idea.
probably right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that one. I love the intuition answer, because I do think it's like there's so much advice that you can give to someone starting out, isn't there? Like, you
Honestly.
could be there for weeks talking to them
You
about it.
really could. And I really believe, coaching, I think, is very valuable, but I also believe that you have to listen to yourself as well.
Mm,
And what deep down, we all know what we want. We all know what
yeah.
we're trying to achieve. And everything else is just a guide to get there. But
Mm,
it's when you start looking outside and thinking, oh, do you think I should do X, Y, Z? You don't need to do that. you already know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what's the big massive dream for you with your
The
business?
big dream. So my big dream, it used to be to have this like massive thriving agency and, you know, team members and all the things. And it's not that anymore. My big dream is that I have an amazing thriving coaching business with
Hmm.
students that are just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. But actually, to have a consultancy that is running, that is very, very systemized, very, very streamlined in what we are producing,
Mm.
but also some kind of a signature program, one to many thing. I don't know what that thing
Oh,
is
okay.
yet. I have some
Yeah.
ideas, but
Mm.
that would be the ideal, where that is actually the main
Yeah.
offering. And yeah, and my week is just very much flexible because I've set it up in that way where I can
Mm.
serve on both sides. So that's
Love
the
it.
dream.
Love it.
Simplicity.
Yes, simplicity all the way. Because we
Please.
do like to overcomplicate things as business
We
owners,
do,
don't we?
we do. And, you know, I've definitely been there and it's stressful. It's so
Yeah,
stressful. And I
yeah.
sort of think I want to enjoy my business and who I work with and the work that
That's
I
it.
do.
That's it.
It's,
You want to enjoy the process, don't
yeah,
you? And the
it has
results
to
that
be
you
fun.
get and the lessons you learn, and you need to enjoy
That's
it
it.
all and
That's
appreciate it
it.
all.
Yeah, exactly. So those are my big dreams, you know.
I love those. I love those. I'm going to be watching to make sure you achieve them,
Oh,
like
there's that
accountability
accountability.
buddy over here.
I love it.
Right, okay. So with those, not that, with those big goals in mind, then,
Mm.
um, tell us, this is going to be good coming from you. Tell us how you've streamlined things in your business, whether it's systems, processes, managing your time, having boundaries in place, that kind of thing, to
Mm.
help you reach those goals eventually.
Yeah, so it's currently a work in progress for the consultancy, definitely. So, first thing that I have done is actually streamline our services, had a
Mm,
look at the services, and over the last 18 months, having a look at what clients have been coming to work with me and what have they really gained value from, and building out services around those elements.
mm,
And that's helped a lot because it's made it easier for me to see actually this is all you need to focus on. It's, you know,
mm.
not trying to do everything and be everything for everyone. So
Yeah.
getting those services down, the marketing piece as well, just again, where have my clients been coming from over the last 18 months? YouTube referrals, but YouTube predominantly. So again, YouTube for the win, and which is
Hmm.
great because it's a long-term growth
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
So once you put the content on there, it lives on forever and always
Mm,
performs. And then for moving forward, it is all about making sure everything just stays very, very lean. Um,
mm,
I would say for my schedule, I'm actually quite good with my schedule. So I do time block. That helps me a lot. So I know what days. So I have my client days. I have my days where this is for content or this is for the coaching business, and my own development in my own business as well. So
mm,
I
mm.
do keep those in the diary and I'm quite good with those times. And that's been that way for about 3 years, I would say now.
Really?
So yeah, that's kind of like my own little operating system that's worked really well.
Mm,
Um, and I would also say having some sort of a routine around taking care of self, which for me is something I'm working on. I'm not going to say
hmm.
I'm there yet.
It doesn't come easy to some
It
people, and I'm
doesn't.
one of them as
Yeah.
well.
It's
Yeah.
it's really hard, like getting that regular routine. And this is something I thought I would do. I thought when I leave my job, I'll be in the gym, I'll come home, I'll work, and have this whole idea in my head. And that has not been the case.
Don't say that, because that's my
Oh,
dream for
I
September.
know. I really was like, yeah, I'll be in the gym every day. No, I was
Oh
not.
no, not every
Like,
day. That's too fun.
oh,
Come on.
Nick, I don't know. I was lying. I was lying to myself. So we are working on that now. We're getting up a little bit earlier. We are trying to go to the gym. We're trying to work out. We're trying to get out for a walk. We're just trying to do things that
Just
is that
moving. Yeah.
movement. Yeah, because if you're not careful, one, you don't leave the house. Two, you
Mm,
don't leave your desk or wherever you're working. Um,
mm,
and eating right, getting good sleep, switching off when I switch off
mm.
now. I really switch off. It
That's good.
helps when you've got family or people around. So when I'm with my partner and, you know, I just switch off, laptop closed, that's it.
Mm,
And
mm,
those things just help me to balance
yeah,
it all out, you know,
yeah, yeah,
not always work, not always, not too much one or the other.
yeah. I find it interesting when someone tells me that they've done time blocking for so long, because I cannot stick to it for love nor money. It just
Oh,
does not work for me.
I
I'm an
love it.
absolute nightmare. I've tried
Oh,
it about, I must have tried it about 4 times now.
oh, wow.
And I've gone from like hour blocks, and I've
Yeah.
even gone down to like 5 minute slots to send a voice note, and like really gone in hard with
Oh,
it.
wow.
No, just not
I
working for
don't
me.
go as granular with it, so it's
Yeah,
very like open and it's kind of there's flex because I think if I went too rigid, I'd probably hate it. But I
right.
have my blocks of time where it's like this is agency work, this is when I'll be doing
Yeah,
content,
yeah.
this is when I'll be
But
working
what
on
you do
coaching.
within that time block is up to you, kind of
That's it.
thing.
And I can
Mm,
open it up and I can write down what I want to achieve within that time, which is good. But also I can move it around. So sometimes I'll look at the diary for the week and then I'll be like, maybe I'll just change, a few things around in the day. And so
mm,
that works for me because it doesn't feel so rigid, but I
yeah,
also know I've got the time in to do what I
yeah,
need to do. So if something
mm,
doesn't get done, it's because I didn't follow the time and I
yeah,
didn't make the
yeah.
time.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, I
Well, one
kind
of
of
my
keep it
friends does it
flexible.
in that really like tight way, with like making a coffee, going to take dog for a walk, sending 2 voice notes, like replying to emails, that
Wow.
kind of thing. She'll have the big blocks in there as well.
Yes.
But yeah, she absolutely loves it and she sticks to it. Like, she's a PT, so
Oh, right. She's
she's
on a
very
schedule.
disciplined.
Yes.
But yeah, so she's like really, really good with it. But time blocking, I've tried, like I say, a few different times, and I just cannot get on with it. It's
Yeah.
so funny how we all work
I think
differently.
everyone's different. This is it. And
Mm,
always, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Some people like to put a timer on and say, oh, I'm going to work for an hour, and they'll just do something, head down for an hour, and then
mm,
they'll go off and just have a break and, relax, treat themselves, whatever that looks like. And
mm.
I had to experiment with what works for me,
Yeah, and that's
you
the
know?
thing, you have to.
Yeah,
So
you have to.
I done a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago where it was about different time management methods, and there
Mm.
was one in there that was a bit different. It was called the eat the frog method.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
heard
yeah,
of it?
I have.
I
Yes.
hadn't. And I was like, that is the way forward. You
Yeah,
eat the frog or do the hardest task first thing in the morning, and then
do
the
it.
rest of the day you'll find easy.
Yeah, and that
So
is true.
yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be going for. I think that's
Yeah,
the one
set
I'm going to be
yourself a
going for.
challenge. And
Yeah,
I will
I
say,
will.
when you do that, you feel so good for the rest of the day because you're like, this
Yeah,
thing
because you
is
know the
off
hard
my
thing's
mind.
gone. Exactly. It's off your desk, it's off your plate, it's off
Yeah,
your shoulders, it's off everything.
absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's the
I
way that
love
I'm going to be
that.
moving forward.
Perfect.
Okay, so last question. It's not really a question, but please can you tell everyone where we can find you and what your current offer is for them that you'd like to tell
Yeah.
everyone about?
So you can find me on Instagram at Ms. Nicola Melinda. And if you want to watch me on YouTube as well, my YouTube channel is She Talks Systems, which focuses all about how to use ClickUp and also how to use Dubsado as well. And if you do want to work with me, if you are looking for systems, then you can look at booking a process design workshop with me, which is where we'll take one of your processes in your business, whether that's your client onboarding, or your service delivery, and we can map out what that should look like with the different tech automations and a way for you to streamline that. And if you are looking to specialize in systems, then check out Systems Pro Academy, which you can drop me a DM and I can share details with you on that, on how to get involved.
Love it, love it. So with your systems house, when you say about like the onboarding, for example, do you
Yeah.
only do it with Dubsado and ClickUp, or do you do it with lots of other systems as well?
So when I do the implementation, that is through Dubsado or ClickUp. And when it's a process design workshop, it's really taking into account what the business actually needs. So it
Right.
may not necessarily be a Dubsado. It might be there's a different way of running that process for the business. Because with those workshops, then the clients can either go away and implement it themselves, or if they want to use Dubsado, then they can work with us for a project to get it set up.
Right. Okay. Lovely.
Yes.
Right. That is it. That is your
Yeah.
grilling over.
Thank you so much. That wasn't too scary.
No, I knew it wasn't going to be scary, but no, it's been a lot of fun and it's been really interesting hearing your backstory and where you're going to be in the next like few years' time. Jet setting while
Yeah.
everything else is running in the background. Can't wait.
Oh, cannot wait. I'm calling
Right.
it in.
Yes, we'll all call it in. We'll all call it in.
Oh,
So
thank
that is the
you.
end of today's episode. So thank you for joining both of us, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Streamline and Shine. If you have questions on what we covered inside, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at bolton_virtual_solutions, or you can email us at teambolton@boltonvirtualsolutions.co.uk. We absolutely love hearing from our amazing community and are always here to support you. If you'd like to be interviewed on a future episode, please drop us an email letting us know which topic you'd like to speak about and we'll get back to you. See you on the next episode, lovelies. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Streamline and Shine. If you have questions on what we covered inside, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at bolton_virtual_solutions, or you can email us at teambolton@boltonvirtualsolutions.co.uk. We absolutely love hearing from our amazing community and are always here to support you. If you'd like to be interviewed on a future episode, please drop us an email letting us know which topic you'd like to speak about and we'll get back to you. See you on the next episode, lovelies.